Miller
day
was
or
not
hour.
deterred.
Not
He
even
believed
the
he had been
angels in heaven,
slightly off in
nor
his
the Son,
calculations.
but only
After
the Father.
re-examining his work,
If
him and his
you know
followers,
that verse,
led by a
you
man named
immediately
Samuel
recognize
Snell,
that any
recalibrated
date-setting
the date,
prophecy
this time
cannot
settling
be
on
from
October
God
22nd
because we're
beyond.
careful to
They
compare
sang
what Paul
hymns and
taught with the
prayed,
Word.
eyes
How
fixed
much
on
more
the
should
heavens,
we check
eagerly
what we hear
awaiting the
today?
rapture.
Especially
The air was electric with a
YouTube
mix of
videos,
fear and
TikToks,
or
proclaimed,
and then October 22nd.
Word also protects fear.
Went
The
unset.
Psalm 105.
And the sun rose
is a
again
lamp
on
to my
October
feet
23rd.
and a light to my
The
path.
did not open.
When you walk
trump
in
did not
darkness,
sound.
fear
The
multiplies.
rapture did not take
But when
place.
you can walk
The
with confidence,
psychological
it guides
devastation
you
that
and
followed
keeps
was
you from stumbling over
unimaginable.
lies and
This
deception.
event became
So
known
what
in
can you
history
do in
as the
practical
Great
terms?
Disappointed
Habit
their
of Bible
lives
reading.
and given away
You
their
do not
earthly
have to
treasures
read
to
10
disbelief.
chapters a day.
The result
Start
was
with
a
one chapter.
catastrophic collapse
Begin
of faith.
in the Gospels.
Many
Matthew,
were utterly
Mark, you
used
will
to leave their
recognize
homes for
his
weeks.
tone when he
Others
speaks to you
abandoned
in
their
prayer.
faith entirely, turning
Memorize
to
key
agnosticism or
verses so that they are
cynicism.
hidden in
The
your heart.
Millerite movement,
When lies
once a
come,
powerful
you will
force,
have the truth
splintered
ready.
into
When
countless
fear comes,
factions.
you will have
The damage was
peace
not
ready.
limited to the
When
Millerites
temptation
themselves.
comes,
The reputation
have
of the
strength
gospel was
ready.
severely damaged.
Jesus himself
Skeptics and
quoted
unbelievers
scripture when
pointed
he
to the
was.
Christian
That should tell us
foolishness.
how
They
powerful
mocked,
is
"I will show you."
and herald of
Abraham
Christ's
could,
presence.
"I will show you."
Herald of
Abraham could have argued
that Christ's
he could have
invisible
waited
return
until God gave
had
him all
already
the
occurred in
details,
1874.
but he didn't. The
But this
Bible
was
says
only the
Abraham
beginning of his prophetic
obeyed.
claims.
He
4.
didn't. The
This
Bible
was
says
only the
Abraham
beginning of his prophetic
obeyed.
claims.
And because of his
prophesied that the
obedience,
harvest
he
of
became
souls,
the father
or the
of
gathering of the
nations.
saints, would take place. That the
Obedience.
harvest
He
of
became
souls,
the father
or the
of
gathering of the
nations.
saints, would take
Obedience
place in
opens the door for
1878.
God's next
When that date
instruction.
also passed without event,
Disobedience, on the
Russell
other
moved
hand,
on to a
can
far
block
more
our
significant
hearing.
prediction.
Think about it.
He used
Why
a
would God
combination
keep
of
giving you
biblical
more
chronologies,
direction if you haven't
including the
acted on the
7
last thing
times
he
of
told you?
Nebuchadnezzar's dream
Many
in the book
times
of
we
Daniel,
pray,
and
"Lord,
even
speak
adopted
to me.
a bizarre
Show me
and
what to do."
non-biblical practice
But we forget that
known
God
as
may have
pyramidology,
already spoken to us
using
about
the
something
measurements
we
of the
haven't
Great Pyramid
done
of
yet.
Giza.
One,
His
to
calculations
step out
led
in
him
faith,
to the year
to start
1914.
serving in your church,
He
to
declared this would
repent
be
from a
the
certain
farthest
habit,
limit
and you
of the
have
Gentile
delayed
world's
obeying.
power, and that it would mark the
can
beginning
make
of a
aid
world's
obeying.
power, and that it would mark the
can
beginning
make
of
God's
Armageddon,
voice feel
the
faint.
complete overthrow
Not
of
God's voice
Armageddon,
feel
the
faint.
complete overthrow
Not because
of
he
all
stops,
ornaments,
but because
and the visible
disobedience,
establishment
not because
of
he
all
stops,
ornaments,
but because
and the visible
disobedience
establishment of
clouds
Christ's
our
kingdom
spiritual
on earth.
hearing.
For
We see
decades,
this principle
from the late
all throughout
1870s
Scripture.
until
In John chapter
1914,
14, verse
this
15,
prophecy
Jesus
was the
said,
central
"If you love
defining
me,
doctrine of the
keep my
International
commands."
Bible Students
Notice he
Association,
did not say, "If
as
you
the
love
group was
me,
then
just
called.
hear my commands,"
Their publications
but rather
proclaimed
keep
it with
them.
absolute
Love for God
certainty.
is proven
Russell,
through
in his
obedience.
studies in the Scriptures
And when we
series,
obey,
wrote
God
that he saw
responds
no
with
reason
even
for
more
changing
revelation.
the figures, nor could we
Look
change
at
them
Samuel
if we
in
would.
the Old Testament.
They are,
As a
we
boy,
believe,
he heard
God's
the voice of
dates,
God calling
not
him in the
ours.
night.
This was
After
not a
Eli
tentative
helped him
suggestion,
recognize that it
a
was
revelation.
answered, "Speak, Lord,
Members were
for your
instructed that the
servant
time
is
was at
listening."
hand. They
Notice
were
the
told
posture.
to prepare for
He
the
was
end
not
of the
only
world
listening,
as they knew it.
he was ready to do
And then, as
whatever
with the
God
Millerites
said.
70 years earlier,
Because of that obedience,
the date
Samuel
came and
grew
went.
up to become
October
one of the most
1914
accurate
arrived,
prophets
and while
in
the world
Israel's
was indeed
history.
thrown